All right, let's dig into something that can be incredibly frustrating when your favorite FM station just disappears into static. We're going to break down how the pros hunt down these problems and turn that fuzzy noise right back into a crystal clear signal. Let's get right to it.
So just so you know where we are, this is actually part 7 of our big 10-part series on broadcast antenna systems. Today we're zeroing in on FM. And if you've ever had to troubleshoot AM radio, you'll know it can be tricky. FM, well, it's a whole different beast. The good news is the problems are often a lot more physical, things you can actually find and fix.
Oh man, we've all been there, right? You're driving, your favorite song comes on, and suddenly, psh, just static. Or you're at home, and the station that came in perfectly yesterday is now just a fuzzy mess. It feels completely random, but trust me, it's not. There's a real science to figuring out what went wrong.
To solve the mystery, engineers don't just start swapping out parts and hoping for the best. Nope. They use a professional approach, kind of like treating the entire broadcast system as a patient. The whole idea is to get from the symptom, that annoying static, to a full system diagnosis.
And really, this is the main idea we're talking about today. Think of a broadcast engineer as a doctor for radio waves. They don't just guess. They follow a very methodical process to isolate the real cause, making sure the fix they apply is the right one.
Okay, so what does this magical process actually look like? Well, it boils down to 5 clear steps. This is the playbook that engineers use to bring order to the chaos of a bad signal. It's the core of how they solve these kinds of problems.
Here they are. First, you document the symptoms. That means gathering all the intel from listener complaints. Second, you take baseline measurements, checking all the key technical stats like power output. Third, you do a visual inspection, getting your eyes on the actual antenna and all the lines. Fourth is component testing, where you isolate and check individual parts. And finally, you take corrective action and fix the problem. See how that works? Each step logically narrows it down until you find the culprit.
So let's start with step 1, documenting symptoms. This is all about listening, not just to the radio, but to the listeners. Where are the complaints coming from? If the whole city has bad reception, you're probably looking at the transmitter. But if all the complaints are clustered in one specific neighborhood, that starts to sound like a problem with the antenna's direction. The where is your first huge clue.
And get this is what really drives home how critical that location data is. A tiny little shift in the antenna, maybe from a bad storm or some ice buildup, can completely redraw the station's coverage map. A 5-degree tilt, it sounds like nothing, right? But that can be the difference between a perfect signal and total static for literally thousands of listeners.
So this leads us right into the next steps, measurement and inspection. After you've documented the listener reports, engineers check the system's vitals and then go physically look at the hardware. And a lot of the time what they find is that the biggest problem isn't the giant antenna on the tower. It's the humble stuff that connects everything together, specifically the cables.
Oh, okay. Take a look at these numbers. This is really telling. If an engineer is doing an inspection and finds old RG59 cable, and believe me, it's still in a lot of buildings, they know it's a major suspect. After just 100 feet, it's delivering less than a third of the signal. Just upgrading to modern RG6 cable nearly doubles the signal strength you get. That one change can be the most effective fix there is.
And it's not just the cable itself, it's how it's connected. A bad connection is just like a big old kink in a garden hose. The signal just can't get through properly. As you can see here, there's a whole process to get it right. A clean, tight, and weatherproofed connection is absolutely crucial. It's a huge part of that visual inspection.
All right, so once the system has been inspected and the parts have been tested, we get to the final step, corrective action. And this is interesting. It's not always about fixing something that's literally broken. Sometimes it's about making the signal more robust, either by boosting it or protecting it from outside noise.
When we're talking about boosting a signal, you have to know that not all amplifiers are created equal. A preamplifier, that goes right up at the antenna. Its job is to amplify the weak but clean signal before it travels down the long cable and loses strength. A distribution amplifier comes later to split the signal. But here's the catch. You can't use a distribution amp to fix a noisy signal. It'll just make the noise louder. You have to get it right at the source.
Another really common fix is just fighting interference. Think of it like soundproofing a room for your signal. You want to keep your coax cables at least a foot away from any power lines. Make sure everything is properly grounded. And if you think some gadget in your house is the culprit, start unplugging things one by one until the static goes away. And I know I sound like a broken record. Don't cheap out on parts. Good shielding is your best defense.
Now, for really stubborn electrical noise, engineers can bring out the heavy hitters, like this thing. This is an EMC filter. It's a piece of hardware that you put on a power line, and its entire job is to literally filter out all that high-frequency noise that causes buzzing and static, letting only the clean electricity pass through. Pretty.
And that really sums it all up, doesn't it? You can know all the theory in the world, but actually solving these problems in the field takes hands-on experience. It's about recognizing those subtle clues that point you in the right direction, all while sticking to that systematic process. So let's leave it with this thought. Knowing what you know now, the next time your favorite station just vanishes into static, what's going to be your first guess? The culprit could be way up high on a tower, it could be a cable hidden in a wall, or it could be sitting right there on your end table. Thanks for watching.